もしこれを簡単に聞くことができれば、あなたの英語はアメリカでの日常生活に十分なレベルです。ネイティブのように英語を学ぶ準備はできましたか？始めましょ
う。Walter Mitty was a small, quiet man. He lived in a very big city, New York City. The city was full of tall buildings, yellow taxis, and many, many people. Walter worked in one of those tall buildings. He worked for a famous magazine. The magazine was called Life. For 16 years, Walter did the same job. He worked in a dark room in the basement of the building. His job was very important. He was a negative assets manager. This is a big name for a special job. Photographers from all over the world sent their pictures to Life magazine. They did not send paper pictures. They sent something called film. On the film were small pictures called negatives. Walter's job was to take care of these negatives. He looked at them very carefully. He cleaned them. He got them ready for the magazine. His hands were skilled and gentle. He knew that each little negative held a big story, a piece of the world. Walter was a little shy. He was often in his own world. He had a very big imagination. His mind was like a movie screen. Many times a day, he would stop what he was doing. His eyes would get a faraway look. People said he zoned out. When he zoned out, his mind went to a special place. In this special place, Walter Mitty was not a quiet, shy man. He was a hero. In his daydreams, Walter was very brave. He was strong. He was everything he was not in real life. One moment, he would be a great doctor, saving a life with a brilliant idea. The next moment, he would be a fearless explorer, climbing the highest, coldest mountains. He might be a super spy, talking in secret codes and escaping from danger. In one daydream, he saw a building on fire. A little three-legged dog was trapped inside. Walter, the hero, ran into the burning building. He did not feel fear. He saved the little dog. Everyone cheered for him. These daydreams were his secret life. They were exciting and full of adventure. But then he would blink, and he was back in his dark room, just Walter Mitty. In his real life, Walter had simple wishes. There was a woman at work named Cheryl Melhoff. Walter liked her very much. She had a kind smile and a gentle voice. He wanted to talk to her. He wanted to ask her out, but he was too shy. His heart would beat fast when he saw her. He did not know what to say. To try and get her attention, he did something new. He joined a dating website on the internet. The website was called eHarmony. He made a page for himself, but the page was mostly empty. There was a part that said, "Been there, done that." Walter did not know what to write. He felt he had not been anywhere interesting. He had not done anything special. He had worked in his dark room. He had taken care of his mom and his sister. He felt his life was small. He tried to send a wink to Cheryl's page on the website. A wink was like saying hello online. But the website would not let him. He had not filled out his page. He called the man from the website. The man's name was Todd. Todd was very friendly. He said, "Walter, you have to write something in the been there, done that section. What have you done? Where have you been?" Walter was quiet. He could not think of anything. He felt a little sad. His life was not a big adventure like his daydreams. One day, everything at Life magazine started to change. A group of new people came to the office. They were there to manage the change. The leader was a man with a thick, black beard. His name was Ted Hendricks. Ted was not a kind man. He walked around the office like he owned it. He was loud and he was rude. He did not seem to care about the people who had worked at Life for many years. Ted gathered everyone for a meeting. He told them that Life magazine was going to stop printing. The paper magazine would be gone. It would become a website. There would be only one last paper magazine. This was very sad news for Walter. He loved his job. He loved the feel of the film. He loved being part of making something real, something people could hold. The world was changing, and he felt worried and small. The very last cover of Life magazine was a very big deal. It was going to be a very special picture. The picture was taken by a famous photographer. His name was Sean O'Connell. Sean was a legend. He was the kind of man Walter dreamed of being. Sean was wild and brave. He did not have a phone. He did not have an address. He traveled to the most amazing and dangerous places in the world. He climbed mountains. He sailed oceans. He lived with strange animals. He took the most incredible pictures. Sean sent his film directly to Walter. He trusted Walter. He knew Walter would take good care of his work. A few days after the sad news, a package arrived for Walter. It was from Sean. Inside was a roll of film. There was also a gift for Walter. It was a beautiful leather wallet. And there was a note. Walter read the note from Sean. Sean said this roll of film had his best work. He said one picture was the quintessence of life. Quintessence is a big word. It means the most perfect, most special, most important part of something. Sean said this picture, negative number 25, should be the last cover of Life magazine. He also wrote a special message for Walter. He thanked Walter for his hard work. He called Walter a true artist. Walter felt a rush of pride. Sean O'Connell, his hero, thought he was an artist. He carefully took the roll of film. He looked at the negatives. He saw amazing pictures. He saw number 22. He saw number 23. He saw number 24. He looked for number 25. It was not there. He looked again. Negative 25 was missing. A cold, heavy feeling grew in Walter's stomach. It felt like a stone. The most important picture, the quintessence of life, was gone. He looked everywhere. He checked the package again. He looked on his desk. He looked on the floor. It was not there. Ted Hendricks, the mean new boss, came down to Walter's darkroom. "Where is the negative, Mitty?" he asked. His voice was sharp. Walter tried to explain. Ted did not listen. He was angry. He told Walter he had one job. He made fun of Walter. He made fun of Sean O'Connell. Ted said Walter had to find that picture. If he didn't, he would lose his job. Walter felt lost. What could he do? He could not call Sean. No one could call Sean. Walter sat in his dark room and looked at the other negatives on the roll of film. He had to find a clue. He had to find Sean. He called Cheryl. His voice was shaking a little. He told her about the missing negative. Cheryl was kind. She was not like the people in his daydreams. She was real, and she was helpful. She came down to his office. Together they looked at the other pictures Sean sent. "Look at this one," Cheryl said. It was negative number 23. It showed Sean on top of something, smiling, with a strange curved piece of wood next to him. "And this one," she said, pointing to another negative. It was a picture of a man's thumb. The thumb had a special ring on it. Another picture showed a boat in the water. Cheryl looked at Sean's note again. She read the words out loud. "Look for the quintessence of life." She said, "Walter, this is like a treasure hunt. These pictures are clues." She looked at the picture with the curved wood. "Maybe it's part of a boat," she said. She was smart, and she was interested. Talking to Cheryl made Walter feel a little stronger. Her belief in him made him feel a little braver. For the first time, Walter felt that maybe, just maybe, he could do something big in real life. He had to find Sean. He had to find -25. This was not just for his job. It was for the magazine. It was for Sean. It was for him. He decided he would go. His first clue was the picture of the boat. He looked very closely at the picture. He saw a name on the side of the boat, Erkilurk. He searched for this name on the internet. He found it. The boat was in Greenland. Greenland. It was a place that was very far away, a place with ice and snow. Walter had only seen places like that in books and magazines. He packed a small bag. He felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was real. He was going on an adventure. He flew on a big airplane to a town in Greenland called Nuuk. When he got there, the air was cold and clean. The town was small and quiet. It was very different from New York City. He found a bar. It looked rough. There were big men inside, fishermen and workers. Walter felt his old shyness come back. He had a daydream. In his daydream, he was a tough guy with a cool beard. He walked into the bar and fought a big, scary man to get information about Sean. But in real life, he walked in quietly. He showed the bartender a picture of Sean. The bartender was a big man, but he was not scary. He was helpful. He pointed to a man sitting alone. The man was a helicopter pilot. "He might know," the bartender said. Walter went to the pilot. The pilot was drinking, a lot. He smelled of alcohol. He said he could fly Walter to the boat, the Erkilurk, but he was drunk. Walter was scared. This was not like a daydream. This was real danger. The pilot laughed and told him to get in the helicopter. Walter's heart was pounding. He thought about turning back, but then he thought about Cheryl. He thought about Sean. He thought about the quintessence of life. He had to be brave, for real. He got into the small, rattling helicopter. The helicopter lifted off the ground. It flew out over the huge gray ocean. The water was full of giant pieces of ice called icebergs. The pilot was singing a song called Major Tom. It was a song about an astronaut lost in space. Walter felt very scared, but also, for the first time, a little bit alive. Then, something terrible happened. The helicopter's radio broke. The pilot needed to fix it. He told Walter he had to jump. Jump into the freezing cold ocean. A small boat was waiting below to take supplies to the Erkilurk. Walter had to jump from the helicopter to the small boat. He was terrified. He looked down at the dark, icy water. This was his biggest fear. But then he had another daydream. He saw Cheryl with a guitar singing Major Tom to him. Her voice in his mind gave him courage. He closed his eyes and he jumped. Splash! The water was colder than anything he had ever felt. It took his breath away. It was a shock. He came up to the surface, gasping for air. The small boat was nearby, but then he saw something else in the water. A fin. A shark. A real shark was swimming towards him. He screamed. The men on the boat threw him a rope and a briefcase. He had to fight off the shark with the briefcase. He hit the shark. It swam away. The men pulled him onto the boat. He was cold, wet, and shaking. But he was alive. He had jumped out of a helicopter. He had fought a shark. This was not a daydream. This was his life. The men on the boat were kind. They gave him a warm blanket and a piece of clementine cake. They took him to the big boat, the Erkilurk. He was so excited. He was going to find Sean, but Sean was not there. The men on the boat said Sean had left a few days ago. Walter's heart sank. He had come all this way, but Sean had left something for him. It was a package. Inside, Walter found some things. He found his wallet, which he must have dropped. He also found another clue. It was a drawing of a route. The route went to Iceland, and there was a note that said Sean was going to photograph a volcano. So Walter's journey was not over. He got a ride to Iceland. When he arrived, he rented a car. It was a very small, bright red car. It looked funny and out of place in the big, empty landscape of Iceland. He drove for a long time on empty roads, with strange, beautiful mountains all around him. He felt a little lonely. He missed home. He called Todd from eHarmony again. Todd was still trying to help him with his profile. "So, Walter," Todd said, "what are you doing now?" Walter said, "I am in Iceland. I am looking for a man. I jumped out of a helicopter." Todd was quiet for a moment. "That's great," he said. "Put that on your profile." As he drove, he saw something in the distance, a small airplane on a road. There were men near it. Could it be Sean? He had to get a closer look. But the road went downhill. He saw a long skateboard in his car. He had traded a toy for it earlier. He did something he would never have done before. He got out of the car, put the skateboard on the road, and started to ride. He went faster and faster down the long, winding road. The wind was in his hair. The beautiful landscape of Iceland was rushing by. He felt free. He felt powerful. He was not daydreaming. He was living. Then he saw it. In the distance, the big volcano Eyjafjallajökull started to erupt. A huge cloud of black ash and smoke shot into the sky. It was scary, but it was also amazing. The cloud of ash was coming towards him. He had to escape. He rode his skateboard faster and faster, with the ash cloud chasing him like a big, dark monster. A kind fisherman in a truck saw him and picked him up. The fisherman took him to a small town. Walter was covered in ash. He was tired, but he felt a strange joy. He had outrun a volcano on a skateboard. He was becoming the hero of his own story. Walter still had not found Sean. He started to feel that maybe he should give up. He flew back to New York. He felt like he had failed. When he got to the life office, Ted Hendricks was waiting for him. Ted was angry that Walter had been gone. He fired Walter. He told him to clean out his desk. Walter went home. He felt empty. He had lost his job. He had not found the negative. He went to see his mom. He was helping her move into a new, smaller apartment. He saw her old piano. He felt a wave of sadness. He felt like he had let everyone down. He told his mom about his trip. He told her he was looking for Sean O'Connell. His mom looked at him and said something that changed everything. "Oh, Sean?" she said. "That nice man?" He was here. Walter was shocked. "Here? In this house?" His mom nodded. "Yes," she said. "He came by to see you. He said he really admired your work. He asked about my piano." Sean O'Connell, the great adventurer, had been in his mother's living room. He had talked to his mom. Walter had been so busy looking for Sean in faraway places, but Sean had come to find him. This news was like a bolt of lightning. It gave Walter new energy. He realized the clues were not just about a place, they were about a person. He looked at the last pictures again. He saw Sean's camera. He saw the mountains in the background. He realized where Sean was. He was in the Himalayas, the tallest mountains in the world. He was in a part of Afghanistan that was very remote and very high. Walter knew what he had to do. He was not the same man who had left New York. He had been to Greenland. He had been to Iceland. He had fought a shark and outrun a volcano. He could do this. He traveled to Afghanistan. The journey was long and hard. He flew on planes and rode in old jeeps. He hired local guides, called Sherpas, to help him. They walked for days. They climbed higher and higher into the snowy mountains. The air was thin and cold. It was hard to breathe. Walter was tired. His body ached, but he did not give up. He kept going, one step at a time. He played soccer with the local guides in a field high up in the mountains. He was laughing and running. He felt connected to these people, to this beautiful, wild place. He was living, truly living. Finally, after a long, hard climb, he saw a figure in the distance, a man sitting on a high ridge with a camera. It was him. It was Sean O'Connell. Walter climbed the last part of the mountain. He was careful not to make a sound. Sean was looking through his camera. Walter sat down near him. For a long time, they were silent. They were on top of the world. The mountains stretched out around them like a wide ocean. Sean was waiting for a special animal, a snow leopard. It was very rare. It was called the ghost cat because it was so hard to see. And then they saw it. A beautiful, graceful snow leopard appeared on a ridge across from them. It was a magical moment. Walter whispered to Sean, "When are you going to take it?" He meant the picture. Sean did not look away from the animal. He whispered back, "Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, for me personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it, right there. Just stay in it." Walter understood. The most important thing was not to capture the moment, but to live it. He watched the beautiful, quiet animal. He felt a deep sense of peace. Then he asked Sean about the missing picture. -25, he said. "What was it?" Sean smiled. He turned to Walter. He told him the negative was in a special place. He said it was in the wallet he had given Walter. "It was a gift," Sean said. Walter traveled all the way back to New York. He felt like a new person. He was calm. He was confident. He walked with a new purpose. When he got back to the Life magazine building, it was being taken apart. People were packing boxes. He saw Ted, his old boss. Ted was being mean to some of the workers. The old Walter would have been quiet. He would have walked away. But the new Walter did not. He walked right up to Ted. He stood up to him. He told Ted about the hard work and the dedication of the people who made Life magazine. He talked about the magazine's motto: to see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life. Walter felt strong. He was not afraid anymore. He was escorted out by security, but he left with his head held high. He was outside on the street. He felt frustrated for a moment. He took the wallet that Sean had given him and threw it in a trash can. But then he stopped. He remembered Sean's words. It was a gift. He went back to the trash can and pulled out the wallet. He had looked in it many times, but he had never looked in the small pocket for coins. He opened it, and there it was, -25. It had been with him the whole time, through Greenland, Iceland, and the Himalayas. It was with him on his great adventure. He took the negative to the magazine's new office. He gave it to the people who were making the last issue. He did not even look at it. A few days later, Walter updated his eHarmony profile. In the section that said, "Been there, done that," he now had many things to write. He wrote about Greenland and Iceland. He wrote about the helicopter and the shark. His page was full of life. He sent a wink to Cheryl. This time it worked. She winked back. He saw her on the street. The old Walter would have been too shy to talk to her. But the new Walter walked right up to her. He was not shy anymore. He smiled. She smiled back. "I have a story to tell you," he said. As they walked together, they passed a newsstand. The final issue of Life magazine was there. Walter looked at the cover, and he saw the picture, -25, the quintessence of life. It was a picture of him. It was a picture of Walter Mitty, sitting outside the Life building, looking so carefully and with such dedication at a strip of negatives. He was the soul of the magazine. Underneath the picture, there was a caption. It said, "The final issue, dedicated to the people who made it." A warm feeling spread through Walter. He was not just the man who looked at the pictures. He was the story. He had been the important part all along. Cheryl looked at him. "So," she said, "what was the secret?" Walter just smiled. He took her hand. They walked away together, down the busy New York street. Walter Mitty was not daydreaming anymore. He was living, and his life, his real life, was a great adventure.
Great job on finishing the story. You're one step closer to mastering English. See you in the next video.